Some of you have know that Mr. Lane was just released yesterday, and there have been some comments that he's been silent, and that's not true. This is his first, today has been the first opportunity he's had to make a statement since being released yesterday. He went home yesterday, spent some time with his family, which he truly loves and is really needed. We did make some other appearances this morning, and the thing we want you to understand is Mr. Lane loves and cares about his daughter, and I'm going to let him comment on that. First of all, we'll take any questions. We'll start off. Anyone like to start with questions?
I have a question. We understand that you were cooperative with the police, and then you all of a sudden got a lawyer. What was the method behind that? Why do you feel the need for a lawyer right now?
Well, I'll answer that one. When you say the need for a lawyer, when things are coming out, when they're being leaked to the media by whatever sources, right or wrong, and they're not being checked, this man has been vilified as public enemy number one. He needs someone to speak on his behalf because in his cooperation with the authorities, they, for whatever reason, decide to leak things out that aren't true and aren't accurate. So we want to make sure that his side gets out.
Specifically, Terry, what was leaked that isn't accurate exactly?
Well, one of the things is the polygraph. They make the assumption that, the statement that the polygraph, he failed. I'm going to be the first to tell you that, number one, it was administered improperly. And what do I mean by that? First of all, when you take someone who's been under the stress that Mr. Lane has been under, which is, first of all, he was a victim of a carjacking, and more importantly, his daughter was taken. Now, you take someone under that kind of stress, you put him into a room, he's not free to leave, he's in custody, he talks to you, and now you want to strap him up to a machine. No one who gives a polygraph properly would do anything like that. There are methods to doing this, and we're not saying he failed, we're saying it was administered improperly.
How would you, what do you say, Mr. Lane? I mean, obviously you got to know that people are thinking you have something to do with this. How does that make you feel?
First, let me say, I don't know what people are thinking. Okay. Secondly, I want to say that my main concern is my daughter coming home safely. As far as me, I'm an adult. I can take care of myself. I can take whatever scrutiny is placed on me. As long as my daughter comes home safely, none of this other stuff is going to matter. And that's our main concern as a family, is that BB's return home safely.
In the meantime, do you plan on getting involved in the search?
I've been talking with my family as well as my lawyer about getting involved with the search, but with the things that have been portrayed in the media, with the threats on my family's life and my life, my home being plastered all over the media, it's been told to me that it's in my best interest to just relax for a minute and kind of let things die down before I go out there, or at least until I'm in a position where I can feel safely about going out there.
What kind of threats have you received? Telephone threats, mail threats, email? What kind of threats? There have been
threats over the internet. There have been phone threats. There have been, people saying things to my family members out in public. You know, they're trying to really shield me from a lot of that because they understand that this is a very traumatic situation that all of us are going through, and it's okay. It's just, they're concerned about my safety. I'm not even really concerned about my safety. They're concerned about my safety. I want to be out there. They want me to be home because, if something was to happen to where BB comes home tomorrow and someone does something to me tonight, what would be the tragedy then?
If you could say something to the people you feel have your daughter, what would you say?
I know that, with everything going on, I know that they're probably scared, and I just really wish that they would bring her home safely. I don't care how they do it. They can drop her off somewhere. They can call somebody to have her picked up. I don't care what they do. I just want BB returned home to us safely. That's it. That's my main concern. Nothing else. I don't care about nothing else. Nothing else matters. There is no other concern in my mind but my daughter's safe return home.
And what do you say to people who believe you have something to do?
Like I said, I don't care what people say. Because if my baby comes home, if she's returned safely, it won't even matter.
What have the past few days been like for you?
I've never gone through anything like this in my life. Like I said, what I'm going through doesn't even matter. I just want my baby back.
Mr. Lynn, I apologize. You walked in a little bit late, but I'm not sure if you've already spoken out about the PPO and the apparent threat that was made on your other child. What do you have to say about that?
I'll address that. As everyone knows, as it relates to a PPO, in order to get a PPO, you have to check a box that says somebody has been threatened. That's part of a personal protection order. That box was threatened. Let me strike that. That box was checked, that he had allegedly threatened someone. Mr. Lane was found in violation of that. We may not agree with the judge's decision, but we respect it. He has been ordered to do anger management, and he's going to do anger management. That's the order of the court. Again, we don't have to agree with it, but we absolutely respect it, and we will follow those orders.
Was that the decision yesterday by a judge that he looked at anger management?
Yes.
What was the apparent violation, the alleged violation?
We don't want to comment on that.
Who was the judge?
I believe it was Cheryl Matthews in Oakland County Circuit.
And would you characterize your stance now as cooperating with the police?
Our stance has been and will continue to be cooperative. We have always cooperated with the police. We will fully cooperate with the police, and we will continue to cooperate with the police. For example, if you go back, it hasn't been reported that the first time that the police went into Mr. Lane's home, that it was by his consent. There wasn't a search warrant necessary. Mr. Lane wrote a note, go, fine. Unfortunately, time and time again, we've got the sensationalism of the police kicking a door down. Even last night, they never came back to Mr. Lane and said, hey, can we go back? We have some more questions. They knew where he was at. They know where he's at now. They never did that, but what do? They kick the door down. They've got their guns drawn. And guess what else? There are cameras going. Now, here's a question for you. If you know no one's in the house because they're watching the house constantly, why would you go in with your guns drawn? Why would you need to kick the door down? You want to go in, we have no problems with it. Whatever they want, we're willing to cooperate.
What is it do you think they want?
We don't know.
What did they look for? Or what did they gather that you can state?
It's my understanding that the first time they went in the house, they took some flash drives, they took laptops belonging to Mr. Lane and some other people, and also sheets off of Bianca's bed. Now, what they've done any time since then, we don't know, because, again, they're not cooperating with us.
How many times have they gone in and searched your house?
Oh, geez, about 4 times?
I wouldn't know.
And don't quote me on the 4, but
several times.
Several times at least.
At what point during the, and I don't want to get into the issue itself, but during the questioning, at what point do you feel that they were looking at you as a suspect during the questioning?
I can recall right after, like soon after everything happened, I was talking to police, and I heard some officers off to the side say, oh, he has a criminal record. I know what that means. Oh, he has a criminal record. Oh, he did something. It doesn't matter if my record would pertain to anything like this. It doesn't matter what it consists of. Is oh, he has a criminal record. He's suspect number 1.
How is the relationship right now with Bianca's mother and yourself?
The last time me and Bianca's mom spoke was last night, and like I said, we had a pleasant conversation. You know, she just told me to stay strong. She said she knows a lot of stuff going on out here. She even made comments to say it's people threatening me, and she just wants me to stay safe. And we just going to keep praying for BB to return home safely. That's it.
How do you feel about watching people from all over come and search for your daughter?
I'm grateful. I'm grateful. I mean, to see the community get together behind something like this is a tragedy, but I'm grateful that they are coming together and they are helping and they are getting out there in the cold, in the rain, trying to find my baby. And that's all we want is for her to come home safely. That's it.
There's been reports, I hate to add it, that you beat your other kids, that kind of stuff. Would you care to address that?
Like I've said, if you take a 7-year-old and lock her in a room, you can tell her or say whatever you want. There's a lot of things being mishandled in this investigation, and that's one of them. My daughter does not need to be subject to someone else coming in and trying to make her father out to be a villain. When I talked to my daughter, all she said, "Daddy, I love you. Daddy, I love you." She sent pictures to my sister's phone of her blowing kisses. She doesn't even know what's going on. You know, this is unfair to all of us right now. All of us. We're the ones going through this. People saying what they want to say. It doesn't matter. I just want my baby home. That's it. It doesn't matter what nobody else saying. It doesn't matter what you think about me, what you hear about me. I just want my daughter home safely. That's it. That's all that matters.
You know, and as it relates to these alleged abuse things that people are saying, it's funny, they've only come out after. There's no history that he's abused any child, and for the record, he does have 7 children. He hasn't abused anyone. There are no CPS reports, nothing along those lines.
Could you clarify the criminal record, too, because there has been some different reports going out there exactly as to what he's been convicted of or what...
That's public record. I mean, any of you can go online right now and pull up my criminal history. You know, it's nothing that's being hidden from anybody. You know, with all the things that people are saying, bring some proof out. So you want to say I threaten people, where's the proof? You want to say I sent emails, I've sent messages. Why have none of these messages come forward? Why is none of this stuff being put out in the media? Everybody is saying things. It's speculation, speculation, speculation. The only fact that there is my daughter is not with her family. That's it. That's it. So everything that everybody else is saying, it doesn't even matter. Anything you want to know, I'll tell you. That my criminal history, you can go online, you can bring my name up on Otis, and you'll see my criminal history. There's nothing about me doing anything violent to anybody. I'm not a violent person. You know, that's not my character.
Do you want to set the record then straight regarding the claim in the PPO that you had threatened to harm or kill the child?
I never threatened any of my children. Never. And like I said, I would charge anyone to bring proof of that allegation. If you can bring something that I wrote, something that I said, a statement from my emails to another, anything that you can prove and you can say this is what was happening, then that's a whole other story. But all this stuff, people just talking, is because of what's going on. I'm the bad guy right now, so anything that's said makes me out to be worse. And with this situation with the PPO, do you not think that this makes it even worse? And things that are being said to make that case better for the person who has it against me, which is also a false case?
Any other questions? Before we conclude, again, we want to just say that we have and will continue to cooperate with law enforcement for the sole purpose of bringing Bianca back to her father and her mother.
And her family. Her family wants her home. It's not one person. I know you hearing and you seeing people like, it's not one person. It's not 2 persons. There are families. There are 2 families out here with a child that is not with them. She needs to come home. She needs to come home safely. Her daddy and her mother and her sisters, her brothers, everybody misses her. She needs to be home safely. That's it. It's nothing else even matters. That's it. That's the real situation out here. That's the real issue out here. My daughter is not with her family. She needs to be home. She needs to be home.
You guys talked to the police today and they had you come down?
The police have not contacted me. If they'd like to talk, feel free to call me. They know how to reach me. If they want to go back in the house, You don't have to go through the process of getting a search warrant. We'll gladly consent to you going into the house or anything else that has to do with Mr. Lane. It's not that difficult of a process. We don't need the sensationalism of kicking down doors with guns drawn on a house that you've already had surveillance on and you know nobody's in. That was done for you guys.
I was there last night. They didn't kick any doors down. They just opened the door because apparently it was unlocked. Does that cause issues for you? Any concern for you? That door of the house was
Nope.
unlocked and they could just walk in?
Well, the reason it was left unlocked is because the door was initially kicked down. Okay? And his girlfriend that he lives with and his roommate can't even live there. This man has clothes there and other belongings that he can't even access because he's afraid for his own safety to go over there. Now, more to your comment, again, even if they open the door and you can't tell me the police haven't been looking at that house all day, why go in with guns drawn? Oh, they're going to say it's a safety issue. Well, if you know nobody's in the house and you've cleared it, is it a safety issue or is it a sensationalism issue?
And what's your take on the FBI involved in this?
I'm glad the FBI is involved. I think we need the FBI, the state police, the Detroit police. We need every law enforcement agency out there to help bring Bianca back.
Is there any reason for you to think that this might not be random, that maybe someone's got it out for you and it's taking it out on your kid? Or do you think this is
I would not
random?
have any reason to believe that. I've not done anything to anyone. You know, I'm not that person. You know, like I said, if you look, you can pull up anything about me. I'm not a violent person. I'm not a mean person. I'm not a hateful person. I don't have enemies. You know, if anybody has a grudge against me, they never let me know. I don't know anything. All this stuff that's being pumped out there is being pumped out there just to try to make me look like the bad guy. Come on, I haven't had any contact with the police in almost over 8 years. Over 8 years. 8 years. I've been working on getting my life together to try to put that behind me. 8 years. Trying to get in school, trying to get a job, trying to be a father to my children. 8 years. And you sit up there and tell me now that my daughter's going missing, you want to start bringing this stuff up and trying to paint me out to be a person that I'm not. That's not right. It's not fair to me. It's not fair to Bianca. It's not fair to any of my other children. It's not fair to my family.
You have a job. Are you employed now? Are you looking for a job?
I'm looking for a job.
Well, what field, what kind of training or vocation are you in?
I have 7 children. Any job that'll hire me, I'll take it.
Are you on parole when you were released, or is it just a release?
I've been on parole going on 4 years now.
Because the notice, you said, look, on notice, this says you were released in 09.
Was it 2000? I think it was before. I think it was like 2008.
Yeah, it was kind of confusing because the crime occurred in 2003, but that you got adjudicated in 2007 and then served 2 years. Is what it says on notice.
No, that's wrong. That
wouldn't be the first time.
That's
They're wrong sometimes.
That's wrong.
Yeah. So what was the time frame there? When did you do the time?
I think I was sentenced in like 2003. I was released mid-2007, I believe. And I've been home ever since. No police contact, no issues with the law. You know, there have been times that I've called the police and didn't get a response. You know, so I mean, all these allegations of people from the past. These are ghost stories. All these things are being drummed up to make me look like the villain. I'm not the villain here. The villain is the person who has my daughter. And my daughter needs to be found. The police need to get on their job and find Bianca. That's what needs to be done.
Mr. Lane, you probably saw some video, maybe your attorney did, of the police searching over in the Detroit River by Wayne County Community College campus. Were you in that area that night?
And you know what? Before he answers that, yes, he was in the area. But here's the thing that, you know, this apparently, again, one of these leaks. But tell them what you have to do and what you were doing in that area.
Me and my daughter were there so that I can finish doing my financial aid to enroll in school. I told the police
What
this.
school was that?
WC3. I told the police this. I gave them this information. Now, 2 days later, they want to come out saying, oh, we're dragging the river because we heard that he was there. No, they didn't hear he was there. I told them that I was there. I fully cooperated with the police in every aspect of this investigation, and I will continue to do so. Only thing that I want is my daughter brought home safely. That's it.
So when were you there then, that morning?
Yes, I was there that morning.
Friday morning.
Yes.
What was your mindset during that polygraph? What were your thoughts?
Honestly, the only thing that I could think about was I couldn't believe that this happened. I've never had anything like this happen to me in my life. In my life, I've never known anyone my family has never had anything like this happen to them. My main concern was my daughter and my family. I could barely breathe in that room. My main concern until BB is returned home will be the safe return of my daughter.
Do you read anything into the fact that they're reporting that you flunked the polygraph?
Well, I think we've answered that. Again, as it relates to the polygraph, they can say what they want. That polygraph was not properly administered. And anyone from the state police to the FBI knows this. And for them to even give him a polygraph under those circumstances is dead wrong. And we don't stand by any results that came out of that. It was not administered properly.
Would you be willing to take another one? Or?
Sure. We would take another one if, in fact, it's administered properly.
So what happens now? I mean, you can't go out there and look yourself. What do you do now? What do you personally do now?
I could go out there and look myself if people will focus on the real issue here. There are 2 parents out here with a child missing. Period. She needs to be found. Don't vilify me just based upon what you hear in the media. If it was you, then you would understand, but it's not you, so I don't expect people to understand. But until you know, until there's evidence, there's something said that this is what's going on, let's just look for BB. That's the main thing here, just to bring BB home safely. That's it.
Okay, we'll take final couple questions. Anyone? Thank you very much for your time.